Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're really well. Today I am going to do another tried and tested video, and this has been a very highly requested one. Today I'm going to do Longwear foundations. Many of these are matte, which is quite interesting. I feel like as soon as you get into the Longwear territory, things become a lot more matter, much more satin in finish. So I've had to like dig deeper to find ones that have more of like a radiant finish. I'm going to test 5 today. I've got my little bag here. I'm going to be testing the Fenty Beauty one. A lot of you guys have been asking me to look into this one, so we're going to test that one, which is called Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. Then we've got the new one from NARS, which is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. So I'm going to try that one. Then we've got the Dior Forever Undercover 24-Hour Full Coverage Foundation. Want to try that one. And then I have got the Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation Full Cover Oil-Free Shine Control. And then last but not least, we have from Kat Von D, this is the Lock-It Foundation, which is supposedly another 24-hour wear, full coverage, transfer resistant matte finish. So they're the 5 I'm going to be trying, and I'm just going to bring you guys along with me. I think to not make this video disgustingly long, we're going to have to do kind of like beginning of the day, possibly middle, but definitely the end of the day, so you guys can see how they wear, the wear test, how they look as they apply, any struggles I have applying. So today I'm going to try the Kat Von D Lock-It. It's also worth re-mentioning at this point that I did film some of these clips in London, so you're going to see a bit backwards and forwards between London and LA, but just wanted to test them as and when really. So today I'm going to do the Kat Von D Lock-It one. This one claims to be 24-hour wear, full coverage, transfer resistant matte finish. I like that you get a little kind of little piece on here so the pump can't kind of like explode in your makeup bag. Now when I tested this one in the store, it did feel incredibly thick on the back of my hand. So I've gone for the shade Light 47 Neutral. There were a good range of shades. I'm going to pop on the screen how many shades there were in this. Yeah, like I said, this one, it comes out, so I'm going to start with this amount, so like a sort of P, because what I have found with a lot of these foundations is a little goes a long way. I'm going to use my Chanel retractable foundation brush. So hopefully I got the colour right. I feel like I've been in the sun a lot more recently since purchasing these foundations. Okay. It's actually a lot more buildable than I thought it would be. I thought it was kind of going to go on. I'm sort of literally tapping the tiniest bit onto the brush, starting on the centre of my face. And I have got some little kind of breakouts here, you will see, so obviously you want to cover those. Okay, so that actually has started to cover my breakouts a little bit more. Not fully, but it's done a very good job, and I would want to do the rest with concealer anyway, so it didn't start getting too heavy with foundation. You can see when I use my finger just to kind of dot it. It's got that creaminess of a concealer, and you definitely can kind of just tap it in. I mean, that's pretty much covered it. I've got to say that's pretty good. So I'm going to finish blending this all in and then show you once I've done the rest of my makeup so you can see it kind of fully finished. So hopefully this light is a bit more true. I feel like I do struggle finding the good light in my apartment, so apologies for that. We will figure it out. But I just thought I would show you now I've done my makeup how it's looking, and I think this is kind of the light I'm most happy with so far. I've just used powder, blush, bronze, a little bit of Hourglass powder, and then I just put a bit of Glossier Halo Scope on top, just because I don't like my skin to look too flat or too matte. So that's a personal preference thing, but I have to say it still feels like my skin. I don't feel kind of like too caked. The area with the breakouts is as covered as I'm happy with. You know, they're breakouts, they're there. I haven't put any extra concealer on them, popped a little bit of concealer under my eyes. But yeah, that's kind of how it's looking so far. I'm just going to keep my hair pinned out the way today because I'm having a work day from home. Hi guys, so it's now about 2:30 in the afternoon, so I've had this on for quite a while, quite a few hours. I didn't actually do my makeup today till about 11ish though, just because I forgot. So as you can see, I feel like it's still looking very nice. I have a little bit of mascara, but that's not the foundation's fault. You can still see where it's like holding my blush and my bronzer quite well. If you look at where I've got the breakout, it's coming through a little bit, but I think it's because they're quite dry as well now. So yeah, that is a couple of hours in. For me, I still feel quite well covered. Looks quite even. I don't feel like it's breaking apart anywhere. There's not kind of any major, maybe a tiny bit of redness there. I have blown my nose since though as well and eaten lunch. But yeah, that's a couple of hours where I'll check in again at the end of the day and see you guys then. Good evening guys, it's a little bit later now. I completely forgot to check in. I think it's about 8 PM now. Safe to say my spots come back through, but I have a confession to make. I have been picking at it. I know I'm really gross, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. So I definitely feel like there's more redness background here again. And I don't know if I would say this is 24 hours. I loved how it looked when it first went on, like really loved how it looked actually. I was quite surprised how much I enjoyed it. But I do feel like there's a tiny bit of coverage remaining more kind of round here. But around my nose is pretty much gone, I would say. There's like a tiny bit left. You can see like kind of where my skin's come back through here. But for me, this is how I like my skin to look. So for me, that's something that doesn't bother me, but it might bother you if you are wanting a really full coverage foundation that does last 24 hours, which this one does claim to do. Granted, I didn't put a ton on because that's just not my aesthetic with foundation. I like it to look like my skin, but I had hoped it would stay a bit more around my nose. You can see there is a little bit of redness. Morning guys, I'm in London today, which is exciting, and I'm going to be trying today the NARS one, as I know you guys have asked a lot about this foundation. Lindsay loves it, loads of people love it. I'm really excited to try it properly. I went with the shade, I think it's pronounced Deauville. This is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. My mama is very kindly filming this for me right now. So straight away you can see this is like super full coverage. Probably actually, I could have probably gone one shade darker. But we're just gonna blend it in, and I think because I'm still a little bit jet lagged, it's probably gonna be a good time for me to be using a fuller coverage foundation. First thoughts on looking at it, I think I expect it to be even more radiant, so maybe it's one of those things as you wear it, it looks more radiant, but I do like the coverage. Now it's kind of blended in more. It's definitely covering my redness, and straight away I definitely think this is way too much to put on your hand. That's one thing, I mean you can see when I do that, it's like super coverage. And definitely blends out really nicely. Probably is about the right shade for me actually. Part of me felt like I could have gone one shade warmer. So you can see the coverage is very good. I mean, you could probably go as far as using this as like concealer to an extent. And I've used my Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a Palette Beauty Glow to go with the look. So definitely once it's set into place, I really like the finish. It feels full coverage but still looks like my skin. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing lots of makeup. A little went a seriously long way, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Definitely gonna have to trim my fringe I think tonight, but just to come in close, I know it's very bright, just to give you an idea of how it's looking on my skin on first application. Definitely liking it so far, and I'll check back in with you guys later. Come on, focus. So just checking in guys, I've had this foundation on the NARS one now for a couple of hours and it's still looking very good. It's covered all my redness but still looks like my skin. So I'm feeling very flowerless, but still like my skin. I'm here with Miss Kel. Say hi quick. Ah! So we're gonna go and spend money on things that we can't get in America and I'll check in with you guys later. Good evening guys, just thought I'd report back on the foundation at the end of the day. This has performed really well. I feel like there's not really any redness back in my skin. Definitely more flawless than kind of what I normally go for, but I like that kind of the natural sheen in my skin has been able to come through. And you know, I feel like if I was going to go out I could probably just like touch up a bit of concealer and be good to go. This really felt comfortable as well. Like it felt like my skin didn't feel heavy, like I was wearing lots of product. It didn't feel sticky. Definitely see what all the hype is with this. It's really good. Really like it. Definitely can't complain. And I feel like as someone who doesn't normally wear a fuller coverage, when I was initially applying it, I thought, wow, this is full coverage, but it definitely became part of my skin as the day went on, still having that coverage, but without anything looking heavy or cakey. I'm gonna tip my head back because there's spotlights in here, which I know can be difficult for lighting. But yeah, really, really like it. Overall, really impressed. So that was the NARS foundation. Tune in tomorrow and I'll be doing another foundation. Morning guys, so next foundation we are trying is Fenty Beauty. This one is the Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear foundation, and I just wanted to try this. I feel like it's quite a good price point, $35 I think. I'll correct on screen if that's wrong. And a great shade range. This one is 200, like the shape of the bottle. Oh, it feels a lot more liquid than the NARS one, like a bit runnier. So let's see this. I think I got the colour match just about right. Definitely much runnier in consistency actually. But I do like this. It doesn't feel like a flat matte, like first impression. And it doesn't feel quite as full on in the coverage department in like a good way. It feels like a real skin finish. So that's like one side compared to the other. Blends in really nicely, doesn't catch anywhere. So I've just done my makeup, guys. This is the foundation with a little bit of bronze and blush on. Looks nice. Can't tell if this feels a little bit matter than the other one I had on yesterday, the NARS one. But we'll keep you posted. So that's makeup done. I'll check in with you guys in a bit. Hi guys. So with the lovely Miss Cal, take two. Lipstick is definitely coming up. We've just come to Basava for some Thai food, and we just did the most awesome meetup with our full coverage bod fam, which was a lovely Facebook group, and I thought I would check in with you on the foundation. Lindsay said it's very weird seeing me with like a full coverage foundation on, and I agree, it feels very strange. I'm still getting used to it. So yeah, I mean my blusher and bronzer probably could do with a bit of a top up, but I don't dislike it, I do like it. I feel kind of indifferent about it, it's weird. I feel like I still think I prefer the NARS one, and I definitely feel like with this I have to put some kind of like creamy glow product on to make it not look too makeup-y, if that makes sense. I think you could sheer it down. The coverage is definitely there, it's like still around my nose, along my chin. Looks a bit shadowy in here, but yeah, so far so good. I think I prefer the NARS one, but I will check in with you again later and let you know. Hello guys, I just got back from town. We had our lovely meetup today, which was so lovely, so overwhelming, and just lovely. Bobbi Brown had us a cake, we had a full coverage cake, and it was just so lovely to meet you guys, so thank you so much to everyone who came. Checking in on the foundation, looking good. I feel like I've liked the full coverage foundations more as the day's gone on, as it's kind of become a part of my skin. But kind of going in closer here, said you can still see my skin. There's a tiny bit where it started to disappear here, but it's all like disappeared evenly, which I really like. So definitely feel like this has been a nice foundation, the Fenty one. I think I prefer the NARS one a little bit. My skin looks like my skin. I feel like that bit there is bronzer that's kind of left, so it's definitely started to disappear a little bit around my nose as expected. But yeah, gonna go and chill now and get in the warm. I'm very tired and the jet lag is hitting me again hard today, but I'll see you with another foundation very soon. Good morning guys, today I am trying yet another Longwear foundation, and this morning I am trying the Dior Forever Undercover 24-hour full coverage foundation. They get points for it being little plasticky, not tubes, little kind of small, nice packaging. I like that this is nice and easy portable. I've got shade 015 and 021 that I was sent, so there may be some mixing involved. So I've just started applying this, and it's quite a nice thin formula. It doesn't feel as kind of thick as some of the others, which I like. It feels like more like a second skin feeling, which is nice. It does have the coverage. It is quite matte in appearance. You can see compared to this side, got some nice coverage going on. I like the way this looks. Do you know, it reminds me a little bit of Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua, a little bit, with like a little bit more, well, more coverage than that. So let's see how it goes over my spots, which are still there. So let's do a little bit more on the breakouts. Well, it does cover pretty well. So I feel like a little goes a long way, which I like. Definitely has covered really nicely. It's covered a little bit of my breakouts. I kind of like to keep my nose a little bit more naked just so I don't look too, ouch, poke myself in the nose, so I don't look too full coverage. But it's nice and even. I feel like what's left on my hand I can add a little bit more around my nose. And that's without any concealer or anything, so I'll finish my makeup and then share it back in with you. I thought I would show you close up this foundation now that I have some Hourglass powder on, and pretty much throughout the week I've been using the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Looking palette on top with a bit of the Glossier Halo Scope in Quartz. So yeah, I mean, I like the colour. I feel like the colour is a really good match. I really like the way this look. I feel like this feels like a satin finish opposed to like a super matte. It really reminds me of like Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua with more oomph. So I'm quite excited by this one. Easy to travel with. Let's go closer in so you guys can see. Try and move out the light, that's better, isn't it? So you guys can actually see. I feel like it isn't bringing attention. I mean, my spot's covered slightly, but I'm just letting them air a little bit today, so there's a little bit on there. But enough that I kind of don't really notice it with my makeup look overall. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying that. So I'm here with Miss Kelk. What? She's the regular. We've just podcasted. That was great. Lots of new exciting products. So make sure you're following us at Full Coverage Pod. Checking in on the Dior foundation. Now, I had real high hopes for this, guys. It doesn't look like horrendous, but I feel like it's definitely worn off quicker than some of the other ones. We are now we're at 4:30 actually, so I am checking in a lot later. But I feel like here, hopefully my camera will focus. So I have a little bit of a breakout here that's dry, and the foundation has really clung to it. And I feel like around my nose it's kind of completely gone. And it has kind of sat a bit in my fine lines. I mean, it's not horrendous, but it's not my favourite so far, and I really wanted this to be good. I was really excited about it feeling like a Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua. Lindsay's doing thumbs down. So yeah, doesn't look awful, but I do look matte, and I feel like my skin just looks a bit dull now. So 24 hours, I don't think so. Good evening everyone, back in my bathroom after a lovely day recording Full Coverage podcast with Miss Kelk. Got our nails did. Look how cute this is. I'm gonna have to do that, aren't I? Because it's gonna, for focusing, so cute. I went with black with gold dots, which I wanted to try for ages, and I'm really into it. But back to the important information of the Dior foundation. I've just blown my nose. My nose is really, really itchy today. So obviously it hasn't withstood the test of blowing my nose, because I feel like the foundation has pretty much disappeared from my nose. I mean, it's really hard to tell. I can't tell if there's a little bit here. It doesn't really feel like there is. I feel like of all the other foundations, this was the thinnest one, and I feel like this one has kind of disappeared the quickest. It's disappeared quite evenly, which is good. My eyes are looking very, very tired now. But yeah, I don't really feel like I have any base left, I don't think. Just tiredness under my eyes. So yeah, I think this one, I love the texture, I love the way it feels, I like that it was lightweight and fluid, but I think it looked amazing at the beginning and then just slowly disappeared. So I definitely wouldn't say this is 24-hour coverage personally. I mean, I like the way it's worn, I don't hate it, I just feel like around here has kind of disappeared, but faded evenly. So I'll try another foundation tomorrow. Good morning guys, I am on the last foundation of the ones that I've been testing, and today I am trying Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation SPF. This one. Now I was gifted this one, and this is the lightest shade I have, so I'm risking looking very tangerine orange for you guys today at the risk of testing this, so I hope you will understand this. Yeah, this is definitely going to be too dark for me. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I feel like I'm definitely going to look a lot browner, so yeah. I can make it work. I feel like I can make it work. But I do like that Bobbi Brown does lots of great colours. I feel like you can always get a shade with Bobbi, which I really, really like. This one has got a bit of SPF in. And it does glide nicely. I've just got moisturiser underneath, a bit of SPF, as I always wear as my base. So I'm gonna attempt going in with fingers, just because I feel like with my brush it was soaking up a lot of the product. It does look nice on the skin. I feel like the texture's really nice. So yeah, fingers definitely more goes further. I'm just having to really blend this in. As you can see here, it's a little bit too warm for me. You can definitely get away with it if I make sure all my neck and everything matches. So as you can see, I've had to go slightly bronzier all over to match this up, but my shoulders have got a bit of a tan, so I feel like I can just about get away with this. Any darker and it wouldn't have worked. So yeah, just thought I would show you where I've applied some bronze, some blush, how the foundation looks overall with a finished makeup look. So far I'm really liking it. I still feel there's like a bit of glow coming through. I have added again, as I have done on all the foundations, my Glossier Halo Scope and Quartz, because I can't deal with like a flat matte look. I need something to lift it, and I want a foundation that's Longwear that can work with that. So that's just my preference. So just showing you now with that added glow, how it all looks. I really like it. So I'll see how this wears and check back in with you again in a bit. Good afternoon, guys. The time now is about 4:30, and I have to say this is looking really, really lovely. I feel like it's holding the rest of my makeup nicely. It's going a little bit closer so you can see the texture's still nice. It's still, I've rubbed my nose a little bit because I've had slight hay fever today, so I have blown my nose a little bit. But even with that, it doesn't look terrible. So far I am super, super impressed with this foundation and excited. So I'll keep you posted and we'll check in one more time later. So it's the end of the day, guys, and no daylight left at all in our apartment, so I'm just stuck with the yellowy light. And I've got to say, I really, really like this one. I feel like this one surprised me the most. I thought this was going to be like super, super matte, but everything has kind of faded pretty evenly. I mean, I still feel like I have a little bit of coverage. Obviously, I know this light's very yellowy, but there's still that kind of glow a little bit. It doesn't feel flat matte. And it doesn't feel as matte as the Fenty Beauty one did. Actually, that one felt very, very matte and a bit more extreme to my liking. Whereas this feels more similar to like the NARS one. So I'm really, really enjoying that. If I come a bit closer, you can see nothing's kind of broken up, which I like. I feel like it looks good. Around my nose looks good. I'm really, really impressed. I feel like it's even kind of still just about holding my bronzer and blusher. Obviously those have worn down quite a bit. But yeah, I've really, really enjoyed that. So yeah, interesting. Very excited to make my conclusion. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hi guys, so I thought I would conclude this video. I have got my notes here in my trusty Filofax, and I'm going to go through with you the one that won. Now before I kind of start going back in reverse order, it's worth just restating that what I was looking for in these foundations was long-lasting wear. I was looking for comfort. I was looking for coverage, but coverage that still looks like skin. Now that is just my preference. So take that into account when you kind of hear my thoughts on these foundations. I will obviously explain which ones I think are great if you like a heavier coverage look. We've got all kinds of noises going on today. Upstairs keeps hoovering. We've got planes. We're just gonna go for it. And excuse the not so exciting background as well. It's just I have about 20 minutes to film this conclusion before I have to go to work. So I'm gonna crack on with this and give you guys the information you wanna know. So in 5th place was the Dior Skin Forever Undercover 24-hour full coverage water-based foundation. Now, this isn't a bad foundation. It just feels like out of all the ones I tried, it was the one that disappointed me the most, shall we say. I love the bottle. It really reminded me of like Chanel Aqua Lumiere. Yeah, Aqua Lumiere, just checking that was the right one, the one in the little square bottle. It really reminded me of that foundation in general, actually. It almost felt like, especially as I was applying it, that it looked like that, but the more fuller coverage version. So that had me really excited when I first started it. This claims to be full coverage, water-based foundation, a natural matte finish, does state full coverage. It says second skin, a second skin look, which I do think it did look like skin. I did like that about it. I don't feel like it was fully full coverage compared to some of the other ones I tested. And the main reason this one is in last place is because it definitely didn't last. I think it says 24 hours, it says on the website. The 24-hour wear, that I disagree with. I feel like about 6 to 8 hours into this foundation, I was recording the podcast with Lindsay Kelk, and I asked her what she thought of it, and she was like, it just looked a bit dull. I feel like my skin started to look a bit lifeless. And it just didn't wear. I feel like it definitely wasn't the longest wearing of all the ones I tested. So for that reason, liked the way it looked when I first applied it, was really excited at the beginning of the day, and just as the day went on, I felt like it kind of dramatically disappeared to nothing. So that's why that one is in 5th place. That one comes in 24 shades and is priced at $52. So that one was the most expensive as well of all the ones I tried. So in 4th place, we have Fenty's Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. This one is $34 and has a total of 40 shades, which is amazing. So this one was interesting. I found this one a lot more liquidy as well when I was kind of working with it, and I didn't dislike it. Again, I think this is all about personal preference. For me, this was that little bit too matte. So I appreciate it says matte. Again, if you have oily skin, I think you'll really enjoy this one. It was long wearing, but I think I felt like I could feel it on my skin. That was my main reasoning for being in 4th place. So when it was on, I definitely looked the mattest I'd looked out of any of the foundations. I did look slightly flat, I felt. And again, when asking my friends, asking people I was with, they were like, we can see you've got foundation on. I think that was the biggest thing that people were saying. It felt like they could see the foundation. So it wasn't really undetectable on the skin. Obviously it was covering really well. It was evening out, but it was kind of masking me a little bit as opposed to kind of unifying my skin and making it just look really flawless, but believable. So in 3rd place, this one really surprised me. This one is Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation. This one has 30 shades and comes in at $35. This one claims to be flexible full coverage, up to 24 hours wear, flawless, matte but not flat, and waterproof. So this one, I really like this, guys, and I remember testing this and being quite excited because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. When you first pump it out, it feels very thick, almost like a gel cream. Like, it was very much a thick consistency. With this, I do think it's very buildable. This definitely gave me full coverage, like pretty full coverage, but it definitely looked more like skin than the previous two, which is why I liked it, and it did wear really nicely. And I definitely agree that it's not a flat foundation. I feel like you get a bit of, again, not dewiness, but there's a radiance within it that I really liked and my skin really agreed with. So that one I feel like was the middle position for me. And I also think if you like a really full coverage foundation, this one would be the one I would recommend for those of you wanting the most full coverage out of all of them. The Kat Von D one is it. Like I said, I think it's how it felt compared to the next two, the previous two, sorry, because I feel like I could, not so much seeing it on my skin, I could feel it on my skin, and I think that's because of the kind of cream liquid formula. It definitely feels like it's sat on my skin, so I could feel it. It didn't so much have the breathable feeling that some of the others did. I think I felt more aware of wearing a fuller coverage foundation. Now, obviously, if that's your preferred texture, then that won't be an issue. That will be a plus point. For me, however, I wanted something that was long wearing, but looked a bit more like my skin and really felt like it wasn't there. So second place was Bobbi Brown Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation, which has SPF 15. This one I really thought I wasn't gonna like. I feel like certain people I know who have tried this and reviewed it just said it wasn't for them. I love this. It really did look like my skin. It gave me the coverage I wanted. They state on the website that it's supposedly 16-hour wear. It's up to a full coverage, natural look, weightless, breathable, and comfortable on the skin. All of those I would agree with. I feel like on me I got more of like a medium finish. I don't know if you could fully build this up to a full coverage, but for me the long wear abilities that I was looking for were there totally. My skin looked great from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Really liked this one. It was, again, a little bit more on the matte side because it's oil free. This one I put flawless but still looked like my skin. It was matte on me, and again, I feel like with this, what was nice was I didn't really need any powder. I could tell, like, it was long wearing enough that I didn't need to even lock it in with a powder. I could just go in with cream products on top, as I normally would do with a Longwear foundation, and everything really gripped the foundation, which I really like. It made my other products perform better as well. So that one comes in 30 shades and is $46. So yeah, that was my second place. So maybe you've guessed it by now. My first place has to be NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. Now, I'd heard so much hype about this and I really didn't want it to sway my opinion, which is why I kind of tried to not watch any more reviews, read anything anybody else was saying about it. I know Lindsay loves it, my full coverage partner. So I was like, okay. And I know that NARS for me does great bases. Like, I really like what they do with bases. There's not been anything for a while that I've really not got on with. And I think they've really cottoned onto this whole long wear but natural feel formula, natural look, skin that's believable. I know Francis NARS, the founder, that's his whole concept is, you know, skin that looks like skin but at its best, which is totally my ethos. And I love this, guys. It was so blooming good. This comes in 33 shades. It's $49, so it is a little bit up there in the prices. For me, this wins because it's everything it claims to be and more. You can definitely build it up if you want to. For me, I like that I could have a medium coverage, and again, it looked how it looked pretty much from when I started towards the end of the day. It was consistent. I feel like it got better actually as well as the day went on. That was the interesting thing. When I first put it on, I was a bit like, not sure what the hype is. And then, like, it's not often that a foundation I think gets better. So as the day went on, I could feel like the texture I want to see in my skin. I know that might not make sense to some people, but I could see that it looked like skin, but really amazing skin, which is personally what I want for a foundation. So this is aimed at all skin types, so I think it's a really easy one if you're just looking for a great long wear foundation. This is going to suit a lot of people without you having to worry too much about your skin type. Up to 16 hours wear. Again, for me, I don't really need a foundation to be 24-hour wear. Even 10 hours I'm happy with. If it lasts 10 hours, that's a win for me. And again with this, I didn't feel like I was wearing foundation, and I think this is the main reason why this one won. Similar to the Bobbi, but even more so, I just didn't feel like I was wearing makeup. And for me, I think that's a lovely feeling when your skin feels breathable, it feels light, the foundation feels like air, and yet every time I looked in the mirror, I'd be like, ooh, I'm looking really evened out and perfected, but I believed it, it looked believable. So I've been filming these clips over the past month and obviously wearing them on days as well when I'm not filming, so I can make sure I know 100% which one is my favorite. And I just have to say the NARS one, I just liked the best. I liked the way it wore. I liked it the more I wore it. I preferred it from as it went on, from like immediately putting it on, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, there you have it. That's my favorite longwear foundations. I've done a blog post as well to go with this video, which kind of explains things a bit more matter-of-factly if you just want kind of straight up facts and maybe without me being as waffly as I can be on video. So I'll link that as well below in the description box. Go check that out, and let me know, maybe like this video if you want more of these tried and tested videos. So give it a thumbs up if you want more of these. Let me know in the comments what else you would like to see tried and tested. I really hope that was helpful. I'd love it if you guys subscribe, and I'll see you soon for more videos. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.